So as the federal hiring freeze winds down, the government is now shifting its focus on the hiring experience. Because despite all the rhetoric, they need to hire more people, not just this year, but also into next year. Highly qualified people. What we saw throughout this year, 2025, is the federal workforce was shooken up a bit. It was a little chaotic. And people don't want to jump in to an environment of uncertainty and chaos. So what are they doing? Is it increasing the pay, perhaps? Well, no, it's not that. Unless you work in immigration, there's a $50,000 bonus to get into ICE. Or if you're a law enforcement officer, you could see a nice bonus coming into 2026. But for everyone else, the pay still lags behind the private sector. So if it's not that, maybe it's return to work mandates. They're going to drop it. Maybe you'll be able to work at home, telework, remote work. Right now, there's over 20 million people in the private sector that are working from home. Are they going to restore that as an incentive to get people interested, to retain individuals? Well, no, it's not really that, even though some agencies are doing it here and there. But by and large, that's not what it is. Well, what's the other reason people join the federal government? It's the pension, right? And the current pension is FERS, and it is a lot worse than the original pension, the CSRS. So would you think about improving FERS maybe? Right now, the average pension is like $2,000 a month. Could they improve upon that? No, they're not talking about that. On the contrary, FERS is under attack in Congress. They're trying to weaken it as much as they can until it's eliminated. It still exists for right now. So what is the secret sauce? What is the big plan? Well, the plan is to change the names on the job titles. On the job announcements, the job title, they're going to change the name. That's going to create clarity, and that's what's going to have people kicking down the door to join the federal workforce, allegedly. Now, are some of the titles confusing? Absolutely. Take 2210, IT specialists. That could mean over a dozen things. That could mean InfoSec, information security. It could mean maybe you're a software developer. Maybe you work at the help desk. It could mean all of that. So clarity could help with that. Same thing with program analyst or management analyst. I've held both of those titles at different times. And when I talk to people, they're always like, well, what does that do? What do they do? What does a program analyst do? Well, they can do dozens of things depending on where you're using them in your organization. So can you clarify that? Yeah, that needs to be clarified. But that's not going to be the magic bullet. That's not what's going to have people coming in droves into the federal government. A lot of the other changes that come with the new merit hiring plan, well, they're not really new. Take, for example, shared certifications. That's been going on since President Obama's administration. It seems like the Trump administration is claiming credit for it, but this has been going on for years, where an agency, they share the certificate of hire with other offices and other agencies to make things more efficient, to improve it, to streamline it, so the same applicant doesn't have to apply 100 or 1,000 times in order to get a federal job. If you have someone who's highly qualified, they apply one time, they share the certificate, and they can be interviewed by other agencies or other offices within that agency. And then you got skills-based approach, right? And this idea is, okay, we're not going to look at your credentials. We're not going to look so much at your college degree or even your formal government experience. We're just going to look at all of your experience and see how it relates. Once again, this has happened since the Obama administration, but it's being touted as a new initiative. Maybe they're going to force organizations to do it. Maybe that's the initiative. But right now, these two things are not new. Now, what is new, obviously, is the essay questions. Now, the latest about the essay questions when you're applying to a federal government job on usajobs.gov, the agency, it is mandated that they ask you the questions. For the candidate, as an applicant, it is not going to be graded. So it might be a text box that you have to fill out or a document you have to attach, but it will not be assessed and you will not be assigned a point or any type of grade based on most people are going to be using artificial intelligence. They're going to be using ChatGPT to some extent, even though you're not supposed to use it throughout the hiring process. The next big new thing really is the 2-page resume. We've been talking about this quite a bit. This is going to be easier for you once you finally decide what you want to keep and what you want to get rid of, because a lot of people have 5, 7, 8-page resumes, so you have to whittle it down. But once you get it into that 2-page format, it's going to be easier for you. It's going to take less time out of your day, and it should be a lot easier on human resources. It's less pages they have to thumb through in order to find a highly qualified candidate to refer to the hiring manager. So it should be a win-win. The bottom line is the federal workforce is going to need a lot more people. This coming quarter, the first quarter of the fiscal year, at least 25,000 people need to be hired in. If you just look at the attrition, you keep in mind that over 300,000 individuals have left the federal workforce in the year 2025, so you have to consider that. And just factor in for normal attrition, there's going to be enormous gaps. So they're going to need to get hired in. In addition to this, we're seeing IT contract spending to records we've never seen before. $130 billion. This action should end up creating more jobs, contracting jobs. So if you ever wanted to work at Booz Allen Hamilton, maybe you're somebody who wants to work at Lockheed Martin, or you know somebody that might be interested in that opportunity. Salaries are pretty competitive. We have more money being spent on IT contracts now, and this is something that we were told wasn't going to happen. They were going to cut contracts by the billions. We're not really seeing that right now. If you want to know more about that, check this video out next. Stay updated by signing up to the free newsletter down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.